We already know that at about 240 polling units will not be active for the elections come February 25 and March 11. We don't know. Maybe there will be substitutes where maybe they would actually have to take them to other polling units. You know, they refer them to other polling units where they can actively go on with their elections, so they are not disenfranchised. However, INEC has actually cautioned that based on the mock accreditation that took place the last time about 2 or 3 weeks ago, that they realized that a lot of people did not know where their polling units was, and so they were confused. In other words, if you do not check and try to know exactly where your polling unit is and your ward number, you may definitely not be able to cast your vote come Saturday this week. So it's important for you to get yourself abreast and do the needful so you are not disenfranchised and you do not blame anybody, because this time around BVAS is going to help us make things as transparent as possible. So today, what are we looking at on the election countdown? Apparently, an information came on today. The Labour Party actually filed a suit concerning MC Oluomo, saying that they want to be able to carry election materials or logistics on the day of elections, especially in Lagos State particularly. And I would say the court has given its own ruling and saying that cannot happen. So here is the information. Justice Chukwuje Aneke of the Federal High Court, sitting in Lagos, stopped the Independent National Electoral Commission from engaging the services of the chairman of the Lagos State PACS Management Committee, Musiliu Akinsoya, whom we know as MC Oluomo, to distribute election materials in the state pending the hearing and determination of a suit filed by the Labour Party and 5 others. You'll recall that INEC in Lagos State have reacted to a backlash. I think we talked about that 2 weeks ago. A backlash following a letter written by MC Oluomo asking the electoral umpire to contract the distribution of materials to him, saying INEC was engaging PAC managers in the state and not MC Oluomo. I remember Agbaji actually held a press conference to that effect, trying to clarify the information, saying that they were not working with MC Oluomo, but they were working with the parks and garages. It is what they've always done as the elections come close. You know, logistic carrying, they're usually the ones that they work with, they partner with. And we talked about it on this program, and a lot of people called in and said, why can't we have independent logistic carriers, contractors, you know, who can go about with the carriage of the election materials? So this is one information that came up today. Some people will consider this a victory. But hey, the question is this. What is the preparedness for INEC? In terms of orientation, how well did they orient the people, educate the people on how to carry on with the elections? Election materials are not ready yet, especially for those who go about the election observing, even the press kits. Some of these things are not yet available by INEC. We do not know why, if they say they're properly prepared. And for individuals who had to go through some relocation, some processes, and somehow they had issues with their PVCs, what has INEC done, or how far has INEC gone to correct most of these anomalies now that the elections are coming close? I have in the studio Mr. Elvis Alimehele, as usual. We know him as a public advocate, a social commentator, and of course, you know, he's been a journalist for a very long time. He's still once a journalist, always a journalist. And along with him is Benga Oyele. He's a community organizer. I got that right. He's also a public affairs analyst and a social commentator. Welcome to the Election Countdown, Voice of the People. Good evening. I'll start with you, Mr. Benga Oyele. So I'm sure you organize a lot of activities within Lagos State. I think you're actually already into politics, whether we like it or not. Of course. So that means you actually know how these people work. You understand what it takes. Why do you think Lagosians were against MC Oluomo's plea to be the official carriers of logistics in Lagos State? What's going on now? Let's do this show for goodness sake. This is not. All right, so Mr. Benga, you were trying to explain something to us, and I was asking you that why do you think Lagosians are adamant that MC Oluomo will not be one of his team or his people, whatever it is he wrote, they would not be the logistic carriers for that is logistic carriers of election materials come February 25?
Well, those that are saying stuff are basically the elites.
Really?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure. They are the ones that read tweets. They are the ones that read news. The basic people in Lagos are not really disturbed by his interactions, because if you've been voting in Lagos in the last 30 years, you will know that you see black and yellow buses bring INEC to your polling units. And you know who are the ones in charge of those kind of buses.
Wait, pause. I need you to pause. You're literally telling me that those who are not, would I say, averagely educated,
yes,
it is anything you tell them and anything they see that they're used to. So they wouldn't have had any issue. They wouldn't have had any contribution. They wouldn't have been part of the cry that MC Oluomo and his parks and garages management shouldn't be part of the logistic carriers for for election materials.
Of course, because they've been saying that. If I may ask anyone that in the last 30 years, have you ever seen another brand of bus bring INEC to polling units in the last 30 years? You say no. Now, the issue is not even the guts by somebody who is not an elite, is the silence of the elite. What happened to brands like God is Good, Govo? What happened to Night Posts doing the logistic responsibility for INEC?
Okay.
They are not saying anything, but they can say something when the explosion of delivery rides started in Lagos 3 years ago, that they wanted them to register. But when it comes to helping Nigeria to drive logistics as Night Posts, they are not interested. They are silent.
Wait,
And in a room where everyone is silent, the first person to speak is the man whom have the say. He dropped a letter 2 weeks later. There's nothing from Konga. There's nothing from Jumia. All other brands that does logistics. Nobody's speaking. God is Good is not saying anything. The Fesinashi is not talking. And we have, all the elite could do is to go to the law court to go and get an injunction. The next question is, are they going to make use of my bus or my car on election day to convey INEC? You have created a room for INEC to give you a reason why your voting materials won't get to polling units on time in Lagos State. From this injunction now, that's what you're saying. However, if you look at what INEC responded with, INEC said they are not interacting with MC Oluomo. They are interacting with the
Parks and Garages Management.
You see, Parks and Garages Management, you know where they belong.
Exactly.
You know who they interact with. You and I, since we've been thinking about our side also, our businesses, we are not thinking about getting a bus or a tricycle. Instead of doing that, I want to do touch business.
Mr. Benga, let me ask you something. I thought the process is an open bid, whereby let me even ask this question. Did INEC make the bracket open for other logistics, for other transport companies to be part of conveying election materials? That's the question I think we need to be asking ourselves. Mr. Elvis.
I want to disagree with my good friend here, Mr. Benga. INEC did not do his own work very well. You know, we discussed this when the matter was trending. And I thank God that the judgment came today. I mean, the hearing came and the judgment came. So Nigerians want transparent election. Yes, it is true that yellow buses have been doing this over the years in all the elections in Lagos. But the involvement of Oluomo, who is now in charge of Parks and Garages Management in Lagos, has not been this pronounced. If you take a look at all the yellow buses in Lagos today, look at the banner at the back of all the yellow buses. It's sponsored by Park organization campaigning for a political party that is one of the major political party contesting for this same election we are talking of in this February 25th. So, and this same person has gone further to even organize 3 million, 5 million man march for that same political party. So, what do you not think of the other parties who did not have this kind of support roll out the vehicle for the logistics, something is wrong somewhere. They did it very well. They went to the court. Let the court make pronouncement, and that pronouncement that came in today, I think, it's not just for the elite. It is for everybody. A card carrying member. I mean, everybody that has a PVC that wants to go and vote wisely, and that vote the vote must be credible, fair, and free.
But what I'm asking now is, when it comes to logistics, logistics is to convey these sensitive electoral materials to several polling units. The question now is, did INEC make it an open ballot system? Did they make it transparent whereby other logistic carriers can bid to convey election materials?
Esther, that was where I said INEC came in wrongly. When you know that somebody that is heading this kind of organization, remember there was even no organization like Park and Garages.
Yes.
It was the problem MC Oluomo had with the National Union that gave birth to that. You know, it was just an office created for him by Lagos State government. When you know that something of this nature is already on ground, the onus lies that INEC should have come up with an open bid. Mr. Gbenga has just mentioned some other logistic companies. INEC should have come up with an open bid just to make sure that something of this kind of controversy does not arise at all.
Okay.
Or even getting to the court for the court to now make pronouncement. If INEC they don't do that, that was a shortfall in INEC's side.
All right, Mr. Gbenga.
If I may come in, you see, as elite people, when we talk in Lagos, we are leading the entire Nigeria and probably the whole of.
When you say elite, are you referring to the average Nigerian that is educated or understands how to lead and
general Lagosian?
I'm talking about the fact that people in Lagos are so educated to the point that even the average conductor understands the forces of demand and supply. That when people close at work, you hike your transport fare.
All right.
When they are going to work in the morning, you hike it again. When it's noon, you bring it down.
Okay.
So they know the basic economics of forces of demand and supply. So a way we can say, okay, an average person in Lagos is elite enough to the point where they understand commerce and, you know. So I feel the best approach, or a more robust and balanced approach to this, would have been that on a side you go for a court injunction, and the other side you prefer a better solution to INEC.
Okay.
In all of this, nobody is mentioning please patronize NIPOST. Nobody is saying please patronize Uber.
So you're saying
nobody is saying nobody is saying please patronize Bolt. Right. Everyone is only saying we don't want to see MC Oluomo there. Good, fine. The question is, okay, you don't want tomorrow to be Tuesday. So which day do you want tomorrow to be? You now keep quiet. Then tomorrow is going to be Tuesday. You know. So for us as Lagosian, and you can see it is only in Lagos that conversation is up. That's why I'm saying it's because of the exposure we have in Lagos. That's why we are interested in that side of the conversation. So you're saying
that ideally people wouldn't have paid any attention to it. It's just because Lagosians are intelligible enough to know what is right and what is wrong.
You understand?
Now, let me ask you a question. Why do you think Lagosians are this time around particular about the fact that they do not want MC Oluomo involved when it comes to carrying the sensitive materials? Why do you think this particular time, this phase, is different from 2015 and 2019 or all the times elections have been going on?
The reason is clear. He did something that he was not supposed to do, which is writing officially. You see, even if he did not write, they will INEC in the best election in the history of Nigeria. You know it, I know it.
Is when?
That was 93.
Okay.
You know, June 12.
Okay.
So naturally, that same election made use of these yellow and black buses created by the late governor of Lagos State, Lateef Jakonde.
Okay.
You know, so if anything was to change this election, it was to say that now we have dispatch riders that can do deliveries of these things and could be monitored via drone. But you know the funny thing about Lagos, Lagosians are too busy to discuss things until somebody pick it up. Then we can now start analyzing issues around it.
Mr. Gbenga,
however,
let me ask you the question again.
Okay, go ahead.
I said, why do you think Lagosians are very, very, will I say volatile, because they were aggressive in their response to say, this time, let it be someone else. Oluomo writing to be the carrier of the logistics for election materials. Why are they particular about him? Because normally 2015 it was him, 2019 it was him. Normal time it has always been him. What is the difference this time around?
Well, it's exposure of internet, you know.
You
have
think?
Explosion.
Mr. Gbenga.
Social media explosion.
No. Mr. Elvis, I need your response.
I want to
He's not
disagree
hitting.
with you.
He's not hitting.
Exposure of the internet.
Okay.
What simply happened is Mr. MC Oluomo has played the role of my dad is contesting in this election as presidential candidate. Let's not shy away from the truth. So just that he told Nigerians, particularly Lagosians, that I am organizing 5 million man march, which he did.
Okay, are you saying
for APC?
Are you saying he did not do any rally during
No,
Buhari's campaign?
No,
You're not getting it, Mr.
Do you
Mr.
remember
Gbenga?
that the popular attack that you had on his life
Yes.
happened during that era?
Yes.
And it is even more peaceful now than that time, and he did it.
Listen, he was doing that not to Asiwaju, who is like, he's my boss, direct boss. Who he was look at the way the Lagos pass and garage. He was giving birth to, because this guy is our person. He does not need to remain idle. Does not have a job.
Are you saying?
So all this one you were talking
even
about,
Oyo
he was taking he was taking directly from the national body of National Union of Road Transport Workers when he was chairman. You know there is a national chairman.
Yeah.
Now Lagos Park and Garages management, everything about it rests with him. Began with him and rests with him. It's different from now the national chairman of National Union of Road Transport Workers telling me no, that is not what the law says about our operational procedure.
Mr.
Now
Gbenga.
everything rotates around him, arranging ends with him.
So,
That's
Mr.
what makes
Gbenga,
the
the essence here is the difference. The reason why.
Campaign for
yes.
them. Even
So
the buses are campaigning for them. The buses will be distributing material on that 25th. You will still be seeing it there. Vote for APC. Vote, and all the candidates' pictures are behind the buses that are going to distribute material.
So you do not agree. Wait, Mr. Elvis, wait. Mr. Gbenga, wait. Don't worry, you're going to talk. The question I'm throwing at you now, because I think he's been able to respond to what the fundamental problem is, or the reason why this time Nigerians were, vocal as to say no. Do maybe something else or someone else, but not this particular person. Don't you think that any logistic carrier should not have any form of should not be partisan? Don't you think so?
Well, I think so, and that's why my first submission was to blame the elite. You cannot be so educated and you go to court.
Mr. Gbenga,
in a state.
this your elite. You need to help me you need to categorize it, because my definition of an elite.
An average person who have a disagreement and head to court and did not settle it on the streets is elite.
So you're saying,
if you disagree with something and the next thing you can do, instead of going to his office in Agege or Oshodi or Alausa, and you think we don't have to discuss with him, let's go to the court and sort it out, then you are elite. So then your solution should also be 360, should include, okay, this guy said this 3 weeks ago, and in another 21 days you've not been able to say another company or another organization says use us instead of this guy. Because what is going to happen to INEC eventually, and that's what they told us in response to the court injunction, that they are not patronizing him, they are patronizing Park and Garages guys, and that alone is an indirect statement that we are still patronizing him.
Okay, Mr. Gbenga, let me ask you this question. I think because I think you're more of a community person, and you have more interaction whenever you organize events with the grassroots. Do you think at the grassroots level, they all they know is what they are used to? Meaning that if at all a different logistic company comes, are you saying there's a propensity that they may not trust that particular logistic carrier because they're used to the yellow and black buses?
I'm not saying that, and that is exactly what we should have done. I'm talking about us. I'm including myself because I'm an educator. This is an extended conversation already. As of 3 weeks ago, we were discussing this in my office, and I was like, guys, you are talking about this guy and you didn't remember NIPOST. And somebody said, wow. I said, yes, you won't remember NIPOST. You know the way Nigerians are wired is that when a topic trends, we discuss just that thing. We don't talk about the alternative. Just like we are saying today, the alternative president should be. But we are not used to that lifestyle before now. What we are used to is we have two, APC, PDP.
And then I asked you a question. I said, did INEC make room for alternative logistic carriers? That's the thing. If they did, and these alternative logistic carriers did not bid, did not want to participate, or were late in their response, and then of course, you know, the NURTW, which used to be the recognized logistic carrier, then everyone would understand. That's what I asked Mr. Elvis. I said, did INEC make it open, or it was just that, okay, these guys are the ones handling public transportation in this area, they have a lot of employees with them, they know how to they know most of these communities, let's just work with them without trying to seek other alternatives through which materials could be transported across several polling units?
For me, I don't know if they did, but let us narrow it back. They have parks and garage management in Oyo State as well. The NURTW was banned there as well. In fact, the first state in Southwest to ban NURTW was Oyo State. And this whole process will be done in every other 35 plus the FCT with these guys. We are talking about Lagos because we are in Lagos.
All right.
Now, I am not aware if INEC gave an opportunity to others. But what I'm saying is the moment MC Oluomo took that step of writing a letter, is that moment that our conversation should not only include, we don't want to see this guy's face, we don't want him. What we should talk about along with that is the solution, the alternatives.
All right.
That's why I'm more interested in how we solve the thing, not how we kick out MC Oluomo from the picture. Because at the end of the day, if we kick him out, INEC can tell us, okay, Lagosians, Twitter community, we have listened and we'll sort it out. And we wake up on that day, you stand in front of your polling unit for the next 4 hours, you didn't say anything, you start tweeting, and at the end of the day, the story will be that the whole thing is coming. And election material does not get there on time. There is a deadline for voting, regardless of when it gets to your end. You understand? So we should, along with our anger, create alternatives.
Okay, so I like where you're coming from now. If they are not going to be the ones, who are the alternative logistic carrier? Mr. Elvis, the final question I want to ask you is this, you know, because MC Oluomo's case shouldn't be the mainstay of our conversation this evening, is this: how prepared is INEC? Because starting from when they did late registration for persons who had not gotten their PVCs, to the process through which people can go about voting, the enlightenment process, persons with special needs, especially for polling units where they cancelled voting, that is the 240 polling units, they did not dictate what the alternative for residents within those axes where the polling units were cancelled, how are they going to go about it? So do we think INEC is really doing enough in terms of sensitizing, educating, and, you know, trying to propel people to participate in the upcoming elections?
Well, they've done their best. As far as I'm concerned, but what we are looking at, what we are seeing here is that there are even some of the jobs that the political party are supposed to do that INEC is doing on their behalf.
Okay.
The political parties are not doing enough at all.
Okay.
Educating the electorate is supposed to be the job of the political parties, because if I get to the polling booth and thumbprint, you know, wrongly, the political party is the one that will lose that election, not INEC.
INEC.
They don't all those ones. Okay, what INEC told us when they were cancelling the 240, they said there are no registered voters in those
polling units.
And again, that insecurity, probably because of insecurity, people did not register in those polling booths. Yeah. So that was, they now calculated it and said, no, it will just be open and nobody will come in and vote. And you know what we are talking about now? INEC also have to safeguard their materials and their staff. So a place where nobody is coming to vote and just opened, and at the end of the day, they might be swapped on. So let's close this. What INEC did, I was an observer even in the mock accreditation election.
Yes, yeah.
What they told us is that no polling booth has more than 750 electorate. By the time it gets to 750, they migrate to, that's the language they use, to the nearest polling booth, which means, and as they had you do it, they said it's done alphabetically.
Okay.
So that if it stops in G, they get 750 by G, which means GH, the next H is going to the next polling booth automatically. That was a good one. But how many of us how many electorate are aware of this? This is where we are talking about that INEC did not do so much of advocacy. Let people know what they have been doing. So somebody will get to polling booth 024, where he has been voting ever since. Because INEC gave us now that 93 million plus Nigerians are registered.
Yes.
The number have become so large. So as a result of this, they now began to migrate people. Not like before. We don't know. We are praying that there should be no voter apathy. We are praying that security should be on ground so that there will be no voter apathy. Let people actually come out. INEC gave us all the statistics that 39% of these 93 million are youth of between 18 to 34. They told us that 33%, which is middle age, which is from 35 to 49. They told us that from 50 to 70 are 17%. So they gave us all this data, but they did not give us that, because of this, there are modifications in your polling unit. That if you don't get your name in polling unit A, cross-check with polling unit B. And release, you were really not these things. This is in their portal. But let people know how they will go into their portal and be able to know, I'm not going to vote in my usual polling booth that I'll be voting all this while, and I'm going to go to the next polling booth. These things are supposed to be things that INEC will do jingles on, radio and television and newspaper, and even billboards and even flyers, share, so that people will not imagine if your polling booth require you to move to a longer distance that day, and there is no transportation, and there is a number of hours that you can move. You move between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. or 7:30 before accreditation starts. That means you are going to be disenfranchised. So many Nigerians are not aware of some of these things. That's where they missed it. I expected INEC to come up with more information, more advocacy, especially now that politicians were coming that day to come and start asking us the working of the beavers.
Okay, so we need to take calls now. We have a few minutes to round up. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. And we're streaming live on YouTube as well. You can actually go on YouTube, VOP 903 FM, and you send your comments. We'll have a comment here from Yinka Hamzat saying, great news. I'm so happy for this great news. It makes my day. INEC is a huge institution. Nigeria is a great country. Don't worry about the alternative. INEC will sort themselves out. Yes. Nigeria has all the resources. Thank you, Yinka Hamzat. So you can be like Yinka and actually send your messages. Hello, good evening. Hello? Hello, good evening. Oh, wow. You sound, your volume, the volume is very low. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, my name is XYZ.
Okay, XYZ, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. I've been following up this, your
conversation.
Calm down.
Let me start with MC Oluomo. He's partisan.
Okay.
Number one, he doesn't even need to write to the INEC.
He has done it.
Whatever. And INEC would have made it open that we want a logistic company that will help us to distribute these materials. This is what we can offer. Then let's see others. We have booths, we have even dispatch riders, which are even the more important thing is it should be given to dispatch riders so that we will get to everywhere on time.
All right.
Going by his request to INEC, please, we should not. Yellow buses, yes, formally they are using yellow buses, but then the eyes of people are not open. We are like, okay, it's normal thing. There it was like normal election. Go and vote. After voting, the person that will win. This time around, we want a change.
All right. Hello? All right, I think we lost that connection. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. You can actually send us a text message, or rather a WhatsApp message, on 0700 903 9039. 0700 903 9039. That's a WhatsApp number to send your message to. Meanwhile, you can actually send a comment on YouTube as well. All you need to do is go on VOP 90.3 FM on YouTube. We're streaming live. You can send your comments in there like Yinka Hamzat. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. What is your name?
My name is Oluomo.
Hello? Hello? Okay, please do call back. 0700. I don't know, the volume of the callers are very low. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. I am fine, sir. How are you, sir? Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the logistics on electoral materials. How does it? Is it not just the same process? But since it has been abused, that is why people are apprehensive. Besides, there is a lot of issues involved now. The Lord of the Manor in Lagos is involved in this election. And people are now saying that, look, you will take advantage. So, we want neutral people. Ordinarily, I don't see why Lagos State should even employ MC Oluomo. This is somebody that the national body suspended. I don't see why they should now rehabilitate him and employ him. Is that not why these issues are coming up? Ordinarily, the NURTW, they should be neutral in this matter.
Okay.
If they are neutral, yes, if they are neutral, why not? The INEC would have used them and nobody would raise an eyebrow.
Okay.
But because of the relationship between the MC Oluomo and Lagos State government, people are no longer comfortable. That's just the only reason.
All right.
And it is very, very obvious. Very, very obvious. So we don't want to take chances. So,
okay.
if INEC does not see any other means, all of us should come and help them and carry it and line up. Line up. Then the military will be marching us in front. When we drop it, we'll come back.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. 0700 903 903 903. I think another thing we need to understand is that MC Oluomo, NURTW has been banned in Lagos.
Yeah.
Is it parks and garages management that he's in charge of? You know, that's. I think they also operate in other states besides Osun, Oyo, and Lagos.
Well,
right?
the one for Lagos is basically for Lagos.
For basically for Lagos.
What we
that's
have,
NURTW.
No, NURTW is the whole of Nigeria.
Yeah, exactly.
But the park management idea
It's just for Lagos.
It's for Lagos.
Okay.
But it was started
It was
in Oyo
created
State.
for him.
Okay. Hello, good evening. Please, the volume of your radio, turn it off completely. Completely. Feedback is bad. Hello? You haven't done that. Please do that. Okay. 0700 903 903 903. That is a number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine.
Name and location, please.
XYZ is speaking.
XYZ, oh, you called back. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Like I said earlier, MC Oluomo is partisan.
Okay.
And going by his record, he doesn't need to come in. Like what we're saying, the man there was saying they contacted the National Union for Transport. It's not as if they have their own personal vehicle, but you need to contact them to get buses for you.
The employees.
So, and this time around, we don't have that confidence on them again because we want a credible election this time around.
All right.
And this time around, we have seen threats from every angle. So so they will not deny other people. Maybe when they felt that this area, they're not going to do well, they will not deny those people the right to vote because they can decide to hold on with the vehicle, not to come there on time.
All right.
So, and when you look at his assistance with the National Union, you find that it will look as if they have a rapport with Lagos State government that we are going to give you, so I will use this one to compensate you. So you win an election for us. We know all these things. They are games, but God has catch up with them. We don't want them.
Thank you.
We'll look at that logistics. Thank you.
XYZ. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. How are you? Name and location, please. In 2 minutes, or rather 1 minute, can you summarize? Go ahead. What's your name?
Okay, I'm Nikki Moses. I'm calling from Okanya.
All right, Nikki. Go ahead.
My contribution here is that after the MC Oluomo being partisan, even the very Lagos State, what do you call now?
Parks and garages, yes, management.
It's an agency of Lagos State government.
Okay.
It's like involving Lagos State government indirectly to have hand in an election.
Mr. Gbenga is concurring with you.
Hello?
I'm hearing. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, in an election that Lagos State government is the governor of Lagos State is taking is contesting the election, then you are handing over material indirectly to him because it's a creation of Lagos State government, it's an agency of government. So it's like involving Oluomo and involving Lagos State government at the same time. So that is why it's not right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Nikki. 0700 903 903 903. That is our final call this evening. 0700 903 903 903. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Hello. All right. This person from Alimosho, you didn't write your name. You said, I'm from Alimosho local government. On the day of election, how do I know the polling units to vote? Okay, so here is what you will do, or this is what I can help you do, the information I can, how to locate and confirm your polling unit before election day. It's important you try to locate your polling unit before election day, all right? You can do it in two different ways. All you need to do, the first one, is to get it via the SMS. So you kindly text the name of your state, right? Your last name and the last 6 digits of your voter identification number, which you call VIN. Text the name of your state, last name, and the last the internet, whatever. That's what you do. Then you can get it on INEC's website. Okay, you just visit www.voters.inecnigeria.org or www.cvr.inecnigeria.org/VVS to get your polling unit name. I'm going to take it finally again. To get your polling unit name via SMS, all right, or text message, text the name of your state, your last name, and the last 6 digits of your voter identification number to 090-628-30860 or 090-628-30861 to get your polling unit name. And the next thing you can do is to check INEC's website. Go to www.voters.inecnigeria.org. You get your polling unit name. It's important for you to do that before election day, because if you go to the wrong polling unit, you automatically will be disenfranchised. You will not be able to vote. That is just the truth. That's basically how it's going to go. All right. So we need to round up on the program this evening. Thank you so much, Mr. Gbenga, for coming on today. I do appreciate it. Mr. Elvis,
Yeah,
as usual, you always throw the light for us. Thank you so much for coming in this evening and, sharing with us what you think on the conversations we're having. Countdown to the elections, and the elections countdown continues tomorrow, 6:15 to 7 p.m. That's what we do right here. So tomorrow we need to be asking you questions. I need to know how well you know a lot of things as the elections are coming close. You have something to win. So make sure you read. If you don't read, or you're low out, because I'm not going to give you time. That's just the truth. Okay, so signing off. My name is Esther Wachiku. Have yourself a beautiful evening. Up next is the Evening Rush with Precious.